solving any problem is recognizing there is one.
It's time we started talking. Pain isn't something you talk.
All we can ever do for our heroes is remember them, and they gave up two lives, the one they were living and the one they would have lived. They gave up everything for our country, for us. They prayed for freedom and justice.
Some veterans not getting the timely care that they need. Less than 1% of Americans serving in uniform. Good news is that in recent years we've made historic investments to boost the VA budget.
What is it? Why should we care?
We should care about press freedom
Because we were informed.
In democratic societies, free, diverse, and pluralist media enable public debates and are essential checks
You don't
on
look
power.
satisfied. Let's discuss.
Hey guys, welcome to Vet to Vet podcast, new episode. Today we're gonna be talking about BVA and California Court for Veterans Appeals. If it's your first time listening, then thanks for coming. As a short reminder, Vet to Vet is a non-profit educational project dedicated to assist veterans with adjustments to civilian lifestyle and to provide assistance in obtaining your VA and other available benefits you have earned. If one were to look just at the VA system from a distance, one would immediately assume inefficiency and bureaucracy cause the delays in such a large system. And that would be partially correct. But it is often overlooked that a major cause of the delays in the VA system is because the system is replete with protections for our nation's veterans. So this podcast will highlight three of the ways Congress has expressed a special solicitude for the veteran in the benefit process. So let's go into the topic.
Yep, and try to get an idea how all this works. So instead of putting the priority on processing claims as quickly as possible and outright denying those claims that seem likely to fail, the VA puts a priority on ensuring veterans have a pro-claimant, non-adversarial system in which to apply for benefits. This is seen in the special protections the VA system provides for veterans not seen in other agencies. And so that's a very true fact. You know, because a lot of vets don't know how to file claims, and the VA is trying to help you in a way to figure out what you're trying to say sometimes.
So, first of all, the VA has a duty to assist the veteran.
The fundamental duty of the VA in the claims process is to assist the veteran in developing the claim. The duty even requires the VA to actively acquire all the necessary evidence to support the veterans whose claims seem likely to fail. So that's where the VA tries to pull your military records and things like that instead of having you to go figure it out. The VA will automatically obtain the veteran's service records, VA medical records, and any service medical records. Additionally, the VA has a duty to obtain any other relevant records held by any federal department or agency that the claimant adequately identifies and authorizes the secretary to obtain. So if you go to Kaiser or any of these outside guys, Holy Cross, St. Joseph's, you could allow the VA to pull those records, but I always tell the vets to go pull those outside records yourselves and look at what they say before you just submit things. The VA must also make reasonable efforts to obtain any other records that the veteran can identify that would assist the veteran in developing his or her claim. If the records identified cannot be obtained, the secretary must inform the veteran and allow the veteran to submit additional information that could be used to locate the records. This is a key difference between veteran claims process and the normal realm of civil litigation. The federal district court, the denial of discovery request is likely not grounds for appeal, but the failure of the VA to fulfill its duty to assist in discovery is grounds for the BVA or the California Veterans Courts to reverse a denial. Which is very true, you know, so try to help them to help you. But the failure of the VA to fulfill its duty to assist in discovery is grounds for the BVA or the California Veterans Courts to reverse a denial of benefits and remand the case for further processing or proceedings. Further complicating this duty, the veteran can submit new and material evidence. after his or her claim has been denied, in order to have the claim reevaluated or even submit new evidence while the claim is still pending. Anytime a veteran submits new testimony or new evidence supporting his or her claim, the VA's duty to assist the veteran comes into play, as the VA begins to help develop the claim based on this new evidence. And any more evidence the veteran stumbles upon triggers again the duty for the VA to assist the veteran. The image of a hamster wheel springs to mind when one thinks of the VA's duty to assist the veteran develop his or her claim, coupled with the ability for the veteran to submit new evidence at any time. While the duty to assist veterans is a fundamental duty of the VA and a cherished right of the veteran, it has certainly been seen how it would add to the time and takes to process a veteran's claim. So that's one reason the VA asks you to submit all your records up front instead of just trickling it in, because all you're doing is dragging it out on yourself. It's not the VA holding you back.
Yeah, so the BVA must provide adequate reasons and basis.
So while the duty to assist affects the VA claim processing system at every level, the reason and basis requirement protects the veteran at the appellant level of review. The BVA, when reviewing decisions of the regional office, reviews the case de novo, but must state the factual and legal reasoning for denying a veteran's claim. This additional protection brought about when Congress created the CAVC and simultaneously added this provision to the BVA governing its statute, requiring the BVA to produce a written statement of the board's findings and conclusions and the reasons or basis for the findings and conclusions on all material issues of fact and law presented on the record. So when I always talk to my guys, I always say, like, every time if you're getting denied, when you get denied that first time around, you keep arguing that. Then you get denied the second time around in your supplemental appeal, and you argue that. And you keep shrinking down that strike zone, so by the time you get to a judge, you should have good odds. But you want to focus on why they keep saying no and not just getting mad at the denial at itself. This was partly to create and complete record for the California Veterans Court to review agency decisions, but it was also important to ensure the BVA was correctly interpreting statutes and regulations and following its duty to assist the veteran developing the claim. This protection ensures that the appellant review of the CAVC is not rendered meaningless by an incomplete record. For instance, if the BVA failed to account for a piece of material evidence that was favorable to the claimant, the CAVC could easily identify the BVA's error and remand the case for the BVA to reconsider that piece of evidence. This added requirement also gives more notice to the veteran of what is occurring at the BVA. Many veterans waive their rights to have an oral argument in front of the BVA in the interest of time, and instead rely solely on the BVA's written decision to determine how the VA is handling their appeals. This protection ensures the veteran understands why the claim was denied, which evidence was found to be credible and persuasive, and what additional evidence is needed to rebut the VA's witnesses or support his or her claim. While this may seem like an unimportant protection, often it will provide veterans an opportunity to have their case reheard by the BVA in cases where the BVA does not present sufficient evidence to support its conclusion, or it does not display a valid and comprehensive basis for the denial of benefits. Every finding of the BVA makes regarding a material issue of law or fact must be supported with adequate statement of reasons and basis. This requirement is incredibly important, but understandably, this requirement also lends to many, many more remands. Any failure by the BVA to fulfill its obligation under the CFR 7104D1 will result in an automatic remand back to the BVA and an opportunity for the veteran to play again. So you have opportunity, you just want to look at why they're denying you, not just at the fact that it was denied. While this may seem like an unimportant protection, Often it will provide veterans an opportunity to have their cases reheard by the BVA in cases where the BVA did not present sufficient evidence to support its conclusion or does not display a valid and comprehensive basis for the denial of benefits. Every finding the BVA makes regarding a material issue of law or fact must be supported with an adequate statement of reason and basis. This requirement is incredibly important, but understandably this requirement also leads to many more remands, and failure by the BVA to fulfill its obligation under 7104D1 will result in an automatic remand back to the BVA, an opportunity for the veteran to play again. Yeah.
So another point that the BVA must address all theories reasonably raised by the record.
After the veteran receives an adverse decision by the regional office, he or she may seek review of the decision by the BVA. At this stage, the BVA has an affirmative duty to read the veteran's pleadings sympathetically and to address all theories of entitlement either presented by the veteran or reasonably raised by the record. The CAVC will likely remand a case back to the BVA for further consideration. If the BVA fails to address a potential theory of entitlement, this is fundamentally different role from the rest of the federal court system. Normally, the BVA, as a quasi-appellant tribunal, should only decide cases on the question presented by the parties. But here, the CAVC has defined the BVA's role as exactly the opposite. The BVA must address all claims reasonably raised by the record. In a sense, the BVA becomes both judge and advocate. The BVA must not only decide the claim, but also carefully examine the record to ensure there is no other theory of entitlement overlooked by the veteran that would result in an award of benefits requested. As the veteran navigates the claim process, these protections ensure that he or she has every possible resource to be awarded the benefits deserved, but can also make it more difficult for claims to be processed quickly.
So the focus of this episode is not about removing the protections the veteran currently enjoys in order to reduce delays in the VA, but rather targeting a bureaucracy delay affecting approximately 70% of the cases that come before California Court of for Veteran Appeals and BVA, and eliminating the hamster wheel of remands and appeals by which the VA is able to seemingly endlessly develop new theories to deny veterans' claim. Maybe the burden to show that there is a need for a remand should rest solely on the VA. The default position should be completely reversal, with remand being an option only when the VA makes a showing of necessity.
Yeah, and partly of what we can do as veterans to kind of help eliminate this delay in claims is by presenting all your evidence up front. And so that's why the VA came up with those intent to files, to give you time to build up your evidence. So when you file, you have everything right here. I got nothing else to give you. And so that gives them opportunity to decide a claim quicker and more efficiently than somebody just trickling things every few days or every few weeks. So try to do your part to help them out, and everything will work out its best.
Yeah, that's it, guys. So do you have any book, great movie you would like to suggest?
So I started binge watching Barry on HBO. It's about a Afghanistan Marine who becomes an actor / assassin. But it's actually pretty funny. It's kind of a dark comedy, but it's funny. It's pretty good. That's what I got for you today.
And as always, at the end, a quote of words of wisdom.
Leadership is the art of getting someone else to do something you want done because he wants to do it.
Said by Dwight Eisenhower. That's it, folks. Thank you for listening. Until next time, over and out.
Thank you.